One person is dead, another clinging to life following a fire in Webster City. Hear from a neighbor who watched the tragedy unfold.
Total strangers are answering the call to help people in a small town that in many places is in shambles. See what is truly a collective effort for recovery in Seymour after the tornado that tore through.
It's such a tradition for Iowa State to win the Big 12 tournament, so it's just as important to us. It's pride.
Here in Iowa and down in Kansas City, fans cheered the Cyclones on to a win today. We'll go live to the Big 12 tournament and hear from the team in pursuit of a title.
From WHO HD, the local news leader. This is Channel 13 News at 4.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sonia Heidt-Susan.
I'm Dan Winters, and we are following a developing story out of Des Moines right now where police say a road grader hit a teenager.
Police have said very little about it so far. They don't have a lot of information. We do know they are still on the scene at Southwest 9th and Loomis. Channel 13's Janae Town is also there. She joins us live with the latest.
Well, Sonia, I can tell you that the traffic unit is here doing its investigation, trying to determine exactly what happened here right in front of Lincoln High School. Now, I talked to some witnesses on the scene. They tell me as school let out, students were running across the street from Lincoln over to the Get and Go. And as they were making their way across the street, one student got caught up on that road grader. The driver directly behind the accident tells me he saw a part of his clothing or something get caught up in one of the wheels. The road grader is still there behind me, and I can tell you that it is quite a grisly scene behind that road grader. Some articles of clothing, a shoe, and quite a bit of blood is still on the scene. We do know that this student was taken to the hospital and was alive at the time, but that person's condition is not known at this time. We're still just trying to get confirmation from police as to what happened. We do know that once again the student was alive, but very serious injuries here as school was letting out on Southwest 9th. If you travel this stretch of road, we all know how busy it can be at any time of the day, especially as school is letting out. There were a lot of witnesses here, the other students, parents picking up their students, and then quite a few drivers who were all stopped have been interviewed by police, and they're trying to sort out exactly what did happen here on Southwest 9th. Police are saying that this northbound lane of Southwest 9th will remain closed as the traffic unit is on scene, so they're suggesting an alternate route between here and Bell and Creston. Those roads of this northbound lane on Southwest 9th are closed right now. Sonia and Dan.
All right, Janae, we will check back in with you as more information becomes available. Thank you so much, Janae. An 8-year-old is dead after her tricycle collided with a van in Monticello. Troopers say Cassandra Rican was pedaling along West Washington Street when she entered the path of the van. She was taken to the hospital where she died from her injuries. No one else was hurt. The incident is still under investigation.
A fire in Webster City has claimed the life of a man and put a woman there in critical condition. Crews were called to a home split into 2 apartments on Ohio Street late last night. They found the man and the woman unconscious inside. The man was hospitalized. He later died from his injuries. The woman was taken by helicopter to the hospital. Firefighters believe the fire started upstairs. Neighbors describe how it unfolded.
Sidewalk, and I'm going, I hope they're okay, because I said I know they go to bed early, and the smoke was coming out, and so.
The victims' names are being withheld at this time. A Des Moines man will spend 50 years in prison for a deadly shooting. Josue Sokup Avalos was originally charged with first-degree murder, but he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder after making a deal with prosecutors. Prosecutors say he shot Jose Lopez after an argument north of downtown in 2015. Sokup Avalos was 17 years old at the time, but he was tried as an adult.
Iowans may soon need an ID to cast a ballot. Today, the House approved a bill to require IDs at the voting booth. Critics say it could disenfranchise voters, particularly in minority groups. Supporters claim it will restore faith in the electoral process. More than half of the country already has some form of voter ID law.
State lawmakers saw a whole lot of purple at the Capitol this morning. Nearly 100 Iowans traveled there for the Alzheimer's Association Day at the Hill. They shared their stories and pushed for legislation that supports people who care for Alzheimer's patients. One bill provides funding for the so-called HERO project.
We're losing funding. The current source of funding is the federal government, and it's a project in conjunction with the Iowa Department of Aging. And this project allows us to recruit and train volunteers who provide emotional support to family caregivers.
The HERO project is unique to the Alzheimer's Association of Iowa. Iowa State is making a statement once again in the Big 12 tournament.
The team beat Oklahoma State 92-83 just a few hours ago. John Sears was there to see it all go down, and he joins us live from the Sprint Center. Quite a game. They were up, Iowa State was up, and then, boy, that lead started to dwindle, making fans nervous.
Yeah, well, that's how the Cyclones do it. A lot of drama when the Cyclones play. Offense, defense. The party started early in Kansas City, and the Cyclones have won 2 of the last 3 Big 12 tournaments and looking for their 3rd in the last 4 years. And today they were really clicking on all cylinders against Oklahoma State. Iowa State looking for their 10th straight win over the Cowboys and a regular season sweep of the orange and black. First half, Monte Morris. What a game from Monte. Hits the 3. Iowa State up 39-36 at the break. Monte just 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Second half, Donovan Jackson buries the 3. Back-to-back threes for Jackson. The Cyclones are up 11. Naz Mitru-Long just keeps on firing. 14 points for Naz. Lead up to 12. And a huge game from Daryl Bowie. Monster dunk on the alley-oop to finish it off. 13 points for Bowie. The crowd is going crazy. Iowa State advances 92-83 over Oklahoma State.
There's been a couple other games, man, where we've dominated from the beginning to the end. I feel like the Baylor game we played pretty well, too, at home. But this is definitely up there, man. It was a collective effort. We never lost the lead, so that's definitely a good feeling.
You know, despite our loss to West Virginia, we've been playing the best basketball. That's for like 7 out of 8, straight. So we've been playing our best basketball, and this is the perfect time to do so.
Get us started off with a big W versus a great Oklahoma State team, and for us to come out and beat them 3 times, that's pretty big for us, and we knew how tough it was going to be. So I think this is a pretty good W.
Now the party is going to continue all night long here in Kansas City, right outside the Sprint Center, the Power and Light District right next to me. Now, lots of Iowa State fans are in there right now watching the end of the Kansas TCU game, because right now the Jayhawks and Horned Frogs are tied at 80 with under a minute to play. Iowa State will play the winner of that game tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So fans have something to think about. Do they want the rubber match with Kansas, try to take down the Jayhawks, or do they want the Horned Frogs to pull the upset and maybe make that path to the title game a little easier? Be a fun one tomorrow here in Kansas City. Sonia, back to you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, John.
Not everybody can make it down to Kansas City to see the Big 12 action in person, especially on a work day. Channel 13's Reed Chandler caught up with some Cyclone fans who had to improvise.
We've been here 11 years. I graduated from here. Shelly and I love the Cyclones.
Brian Kinnear, best known in Ames as BK, runs the West Town Pub in Cyclone Country. He says this is the place to be for a time like the Big 12 tournament if you can't actually go.
It is such a tradition for Iowa State to win the Big 12 tournament, so it's just as important to us. It's pride.
Getting past that first game Thursday was the nail-biting factor for these Cyclone fans. Some of them in school at the university hoping to go out with a bang.
Our freshman and sophomore year we did pretty well, and last year we kind of struggled, and it sucked to watch us lose right away and have to wait it out until the NCAA tournament, so it'll be fun to see where we get this year.
It's sort of a pregame for March Madness. Cyclone fans can rest easy knowing their team is already headed to the NCAA tourney that starts next week. But winning the Big 12 tourney just before, that would be icing on the cake.
I just think that the Big 12 tournament is it's still really important to us and our fans, and even though we don't get a prize out of it since we didn't win the Big 12 outright, this is still a statement for sure, especially heading into the big dance.
56 days I think is when we graduate, so yeah, we're trying to just live it up and cheer on the Cyclones as loud as we can.
With that narrow victory Thursday over Oklahoma State in the Big 12 quarterfinals, it looks like these Iowa State seniors will get to cheer on at least a little while longer. But is the win enough to get them in a car headed to Kansas City?
It's very tempting. I've been down to the Big 12 before.
I think so. I mean, we could make a last-minute road trip if we were like in the last championship. I would totally do it.
Oh yeah, if somebody gave me $50 for gas, I'd be out there in a heartbeat.
In Ames, Reed Chandler, Channel 13 News.
There'll be a lot of those last-minute
so
trips being made.
You'd be down there if you didn't have to work, right? Or maybe you're taking
Yeah,
the
well,
day off.
No,
I don't know.
No, I am there in spirit.
Okay.
Yes.
Sports is fun, but the most important part of school is actually what happens in the classroom.
And we've become painfully aware of what is not happening here in Iowa, meaning students who cannot read at their grade level. In our next half hour, the state education director is stopping by to talk about this problem and what he says is the solution.
Plus, it's all hands on deck as the president tries to convince Americans that his health care bill is the way to go. See if he's having any luck with people in his own party.
Plus, a tornado tore apart much of the town of Seymour and then gave it a temporary population boost. See another wave of generous volunteers coming to the rescue of people who lost so much in Monday night's storm.
After that tornado, now we have the chance for snow to pile up on the cleanup effort. Here's what we're expecting for snow as we start off the first part of our spring ahead weekend. I don't have a lot of spring in this forecast. I'll show you our second chance for snow in just a few minutes.
From WHO HD, the local news leader. You're watching Channel 13 News at 4.